Alright, so another day of trying to work on the on getting missions working. I've done a little bit of work since the last stream. As you can see, we're currently running the Nova scenario, just because it gives a good coverage of the feature set in the mission resource, and given the aim for Nova compatibility, yeah, best to go with that for the time being. As you can see, there is a mission BBS dialog that is working. We can switch between the different missions that we want to take a look at. You can probably see that there are some issues here, such as we're being asked to take negative 171 tons of industrial, not even industrial goods, just industrial, whatever that is. Yeah, so some of the substitution stuff just isn't working correctly, so we need to try and sort that out. We also need to get it so that we can actually bring the map up and get an idea of where the actual destination of the mission is, as well as being able to accept it. Again, like last time, I apologise for the cough. Okay, so I think the first thing that's to do is going to get started on just trying to get the actual cargo quantities sorted out, because they're really annoying. If you've been on the Kestrel Discord recently, you'll have seen that I was posting a bit this morning about these random quantities. Yeah, basically they're being generated. Like, all the missions are constructed in this mission provider, which I was working on the last stream, and the cargo quantities are here. Now, the problem is how this is calculated. The Nova Bible shows that a cargo quantity of -2 or below sorry, 1 second. Yeah, this shows basically that the cargo quantity for a varying amount of cargo is a negative number and below. And obviously that would need to become an absolute value in order to show us something that isn't negative. Now, that is what this is supposed to be doing here. We're taking the actual cargo quantity, which we know is less than or equal to -2, and we're making it negative in the hopes of it becoming positive. That's most likely happening, but when we're adding, well, first of all, yeah, this whole thing just wouldn't ever work, actually. Tell you what, let's first of all just make this actually, we'll make it a fixed amount for the time being, and then we'll handle implement plus minus 50%. For the time being, the actual hello. Glad to see people joining the stream. It's always one of those things that I feel like it's going to be such a boring thing for people to watch, like me churning out some code and working on producing plenty of bugs. Although I'm sure they're seeing me bash my head against a brick wall on some of these bugs is probably some sort of entertainment for some people. But yeah, hopefully this stream we will actually undertake a mission. Hopefully. Yeah, it'd be good to have something exciting happen. Right. So this time, if we go into the mission BBS, we should get no negative amounts. And that all looks like ones that would be that are a fixed amount. So none of them were ever going to be negative. Scrolling is still something I need to decide how to handle in a lot of places inside Kestrel or inside Cosmic Frontier. Obviously in Nova, everything had scroll bars when they needed to scroll, and that's not necessarily. It's not a terrible thing to implement, and that could be put in place if necessary. But yeah, it's just trying to think, because the scroll bars were kind of an old way of doing this. Not a bad way, but just an older way of doing it. A lot of people now have scroll wheels, trackpads, that allow them to do easier scrolling. So, it's something to look at a bit down the line, because this list is kind of like a universal thing, and then text areas that can overflow that is a universal control, so it only needs to be implemented once to be handled everywhere. I really apologise for the coughing. It's probably going to irk a lot of people. Anyway, yeah, one of the things I did work on between streams is improving the quality of text rendering. That now looks just a little bit more natural and not quite as pixelated as it did before. Okay, so let's leave that bit for now. Yeah, so we started getting all the text substitutions and expansions in place, so that as we load up various descriptions, we can whack these expansions in. There are quite a lot of expansions, and not all of them are going to be implementable directly. Obviously, we've got these guys. Pay currently isn't there, although now that we've actually got another thing I watched on our stream was actually looking at that, so we can probably get this one in now. Red, I'm not certain. Was this particular field ever widely used by anything other than the Nova scenario? Obviously, I can't imagine it would be widely used, because most plugins wouldn't ever run on an unregistered version. So I would imagine only the Nova scenario uses this. If it was to go in, it would probably just want to substitute the player's name instead, because it's like Cosmic Frontier won't ever have an unregistered state, so it would probably just alias PN or PNN. We've got PSN and PST built in as well. PRK, SRK. So a lot of these other ones, we currently don't have ranks built into the game. Yep. So they don't do anything. They'll just come up as a little question mark. And we currently can't dock with a ship in order to trigger off a mission. So this doesn't do anything yet, and we don't have person resources being handled with missions, so SN won't do anything either. So one thing we do need to do actually is sort the missions. Currently they're just in resource ID order, not based on the display weight. So we should probably do that. I do have something somewhere for sorting. Using display weights, so I'll just copy that. No sense in doing something for no reason if you don't need to. Alright. Should work. Right then, let's take a look. Nice. Attempted to index a nil value. Okay. 159 of some script somewhere. Well, let's see if we get a crash again. Yep, that would. Okay, let's go to Stellar landing screen. 159. Going to be looking at a comment, so that's probably not it. Particularly given that's the commodity exchange. Right, if I just get rid of that again, let's have a look. Yeah, I believe I ranted about the very bad state of error messages coming out of Lua on the last screen. The error messages, yeah, so something about that sorting didn't work. Just do that. And it is display weight there, but if we just check in the actual mission and the actual mission structure, it is display as well. So yeah, no reason like that shouldn't be working. One thing I'm not actually sure about the Lua runtime is if we're mutating something and then writing that thing back into itself, how it would handle that. So it could have just been some. Okay, let's scratch that theory. Interesting. Attempt to index a nil value. Is there something in here? Well, no, that. Okay, so this is actually already run by this point. When we're landing, it's 159. Okay, so it's definitely not in there. The overworld renderer 159. It's not spawning agents at that point. The only thing I can think of is in here, but it definitely can't be this. Alright. Okay, again, that is one that Future Tom can take a look at. I actually don't want to spend this stream investigating and fixing all the bugs. I want to actually spend some time working on the missions. Okay, so let's take a look at what actually needs to happen when we accept a mission. Now, from the mission BBS, we don't need to worry about accept and refuse buttons. All we need to worry about is whether, I believe there is right, so we've got pickup mode that we need to look at when we accept the mission. So we need to know whether we're picking up at the start. If we pick up at the start, then we need to apply new cargo, or we need to add cargo to the ship. But we're going to need to keep it separate to any traded cargo or any trade center cargo, just so that it can't be sold. And then there is also we need to take a look to see whether we have a load carg text description linked. If we do, we're going to need to show that. We also need to we should probably be checking that I don't know if anyone in the chat knows this from the top of their head. In Flags 2, we have the don't offer mission if player don't have enough cargo space. Like, even if they're going to pick it up at the travel stellar. Also, that makes sense. You don't want to play to accept a mission that they're not going to be able to actually take the cargo for. However, does it prevent or does it lock off that cargo or that cargo capacity in preparation? So let's say I've got a shuttle, and I take a mission to pick up and deliver 10 tons of cargo from another system. I then move over to the trade center and buy myself 10 tons of a different cargo. I then fly over and get or pick up the cargo for the mission. What happens? Because my ship doesn't have capacity anymore. Do I just automatically fail the mission? Does it not do anything? Like, when I arrive there, does it just not progress the mission until I sell off that cargo? It seems maybe give me 1 second. Hey, we've got actual EV Nova now running in Sheepshaver. There's no sound in Sheepshaver for me, so you ain't getting anything from it. So if you're not hearing sound with it, don't worry. It is broken. Right. So we've got 10 tons free. We want to take 10 tons of equipment, but it's not a pickup one. do I add? Yeah, reserving cargo space does seem like the best option. The other option, though, would with the other option, or the other thing I said was, like, if you're picking it up from somewhere and you arrive at that location, but you've used that cargo for something else, it just doesn't progress the mission until you have that space free. That way, if you're somebody who's worried about hyper efficiency and not wasting money, you might pick up some cargo to sell at the place that you're about to travel to, mitigating the cost of fuel. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to then pick up the cargo for the mission until you had sold those goods, but it's in theory something that you could do, or you might want to do. True. Yeah, I mean, in terms of an actual ease of development and simplicity, the reserving cargo space is definitely the better option. I think it's what I'm going to go with at the moment. I suppose it's something that if someone felt strongly about it, a mod could be developed. I think most missions don't, but I don't think there's anything that stops you from doing it. I don't want to start modding the game to test this, so I'll probably do that off stream and see what Nova actually does with those, with the actual mission texts. I seem to recall seeing it at some point or playing around with it long ago and getting like the dialogues to appear here. I think they're incredibly unusual. I'm not too sure Nova, like the Nova scenario itself, does it. But I think it is possible. That said, it might also be something that could be advantageous to add to Cosmic Frontier. Just if you do want to have something like, maybe you've got maybe someone develops a plugin, a mod, a story, whatever, that, and I'm going to go back to the classic Velos one of, oh, you're taking you're doing a shipment to Earth and it starts a storyline off. But you could have something that starts off like a minor story from in here, like a smuggling thing or something. I don't know. I think having the option there would be good, and it's not exactly much effort to do. Right, let's get rid of that for now, and let's go back to here. So we've got an on accept. Pretty certain on refuse cannot be triggered from inside the mission BBS, given that you've got no way to refuse a mission in there, just accept them. So when we accept a mission, we need to run an expression through. And I believe that will be it. Right, so where's my mission BBS at? There we go. Right, and I think we're also going to get up the actual trying to think. Is be public, right? So we need to set something up to actually accept the mission and get this going. For this, we're going to also need a player. Oh, we're going to need the player up. So if I start tracking the mission, we're going to want to add it to active missions. This way we know what missions the player is actually running. And for this, to begin with, we're not going to do anything fancy right away. What we're going to do is we're just going to go through the process of getting the scaffolding in place, so to speak. Then with this, we want to get available missions, list, selected row, and then accept the mission. Right, so in theory, when we accept a mission, we should see something displayed in here telling us that we've accepted or started tracking that mission, in theory. So, delivery to Gem. Well, we started tracking it, and then we immediately got a crash because active missions wasn't already there. Makes sense. If not self. No. Let's actually get that set up in here. Just make sure that doesn't crash again. What I find interesting, this delivery to Earth is always supposed to be luxury goods, isn't it? Or does it actually change? Actually, tell you what, let's take a look. Should be in there somewhere. Cargo 1000 and is -5. Random cargo types of 0 to 5. Okay, so it could be any of them. And then it's -5 plus or minus 50%. So it's anywhere between 3 and well, technically it's anywhere between 2.5 and 7.5. So that's probably going to be what, anywhere between 2 and 8 tons of a standard commodity, right? Okay, that's fine. Well, not that it makes a difference at the moment. I'm not going to worry about whether we end up on the Valis storyline or not, because none of the other missions would make a difference. What we do have is we have started tracking that mission, which is exactly what we want. Right. Now, when we start tracking it, that's going to be about one of the last things that we actually do when accepting, I think. We also need to player dot control bits. I think it's player dot control bits. Pretty certain it is. Yeah. So, and we need to say it's on accept. So it's going to be on accept. Now, just to make sure we're actually printing out or doing what we expect here, let's just print that out. And now I'll run it regardless. Does the delivery to Earth do anything on accept? It doesn't, but it does do something on success. I imagine there's going to be none that really do anything on accept here, so I'm probably wasting my time trying to test it right now. Yeah, on accept typically going to be somewhere else. Right, okay, so we're worried about that bit right now, although I should just test that that isn't going to go bang. Nope, cool. Right then. So I'm thinking, because it's possible, well, I'm not going to worry at the moment about whether we can accept the mission or not, i.e. whether there's enough cargo capacity right now. I'm just going to worry about getting the actual cargo in place. Because what we'll need to do is we'll need to have something that every time we select a new row, so anytime we go to update mission information, we need to check whether that mission is even acceptable, i.e. we have the cargo capacity for it. And then we would then need to alter whether the accept button should be enabled or disabled. I don't think Nova lets you even click the accept button if you can't take the capacity. Let's just try Sheet Shaver again. So I take that, got 10 tons. Well, it lets you hit accept. Okay, so we get a message like that. Okay, that's actually a bit easier to deal with. Cool. Well, we can deal with that in a bit. Right. Let's get rid of that again for now. No, we want to start looking at the actual cargo situation. So at the moment, cargo is not a particularly sophisticated thing in the game. Right now, we actually don't track any cargo that isn't commodities. So there's a bit of groundwork that needs to be laid here. I think what I'm going to do is, for the commodities, if we go into play just here and open this up, if you're looking at the commodities, I keep track of them as quantities like this. So we have each of the 6 commodities and we just increment and decrement how much in tons of each that we have. What I'm thinking, in terms of the actual base commodities that we need to do via missions, if we keep track of them as individual amounts like this, that way we know these are separate and they can't just be sold in the trade center. And then we can also do a similar thing here. So if we split these into three sets, these two can get added to, or like the values of these can get added together to be displayed in the status bar, whereas this one is completely ignored. But the final, or the actual value for how many tons of free space you've got would be a result of adding all three together. And then when you're in the trade center, for what you can sell and can't sell, they would be coming purely from this commodities value. So it's going to be it looked a little weird internally, but to the user, it should be largely invisible. The other thing that needs to be added is junks. Obviously, a lot of missions deal with junk resources, so we need to be able to use these. Junk cargo, and that would be an array of its own. And just for efficiency, we'll keep track of the actual junk weight. So as we add in a new junk, we will increment its weight, and as we take that junk out, we'll decrement its weight. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be the best way of doing it. That way we just don't need to iterate over all of the different junks that are there and add them up. Now, it wouldn't be a lot. It wouldn't really have that much of an impact, but it's just also something I don't really want to do, so I won't. Right then. So ahead of this, there is a few things that we're going to need to do. If we check the fleet, Great, I seem to have the commodity stuff in multiple locations, so get rid of that. Player get commodity, set commodity. Yeah, that's the credits. Fleet. Oh yeah, ship has the. So we have total cargo space. It's been a little while since I was doing any of this stuff, so give me 1 second while I go over this. From what I see at the moment, this shouldn't be working. Oh, let's just check, see what it's actually doing. Unless, oh, I think I know what I've done. So as we buy yeah, I'm not actually doing anything with if I buy metal there, also we get the metal, but I'm not doing anything with the amount of space that's actually being used. Okay, that's quite good. I don't need to try and hook into an existing system that wasn't designed with this in mind. So I can just do it here. Actually, I already have a free space. Free cargo space for this. No, I do want a property here. But what I want to do instead is give account of how much of each variant of commodities are in use. So total tradable commodities. Then I'd also want total on board commodities. So this way we'll be able to distinguish between the different amounts, because different sections of the game are going to care about different quantities of commodities being present. For instance, the trade center doesn't care about the commodities you've got from a mission. It only wants to be able to actually deal with the commodities that have come from a trade center or that you've stolen from a boarded ship or whatever. And likewise, the status bar doesn't care about how many commodities have been reserved. It just wants to show what's actually on your ship currently. But when accepting a mission, we need to know how many, or when buying goods or accepting missions, we need to know how much space is not yet accounted for. So this is actually going to be, we can just say total on board commodities. No, right. There may be a built-in function in Lua to do this. I'm not certain, so I'm just quickly writing something up for it. Right. So with this, we want to say sum of self. So this is the simplest one. We're just getting the count of the tradable commodities. Well, I said the simplest one. They're all pretty simple. The next one is we want all the tradable commodities plus the sum of all of the mission commodities. For that, we're looking at mission bound commodities. And then finally, we're looking for the total on board commodities plus the sum of self reserved commodities. So that should give us those quantities. And if we go to the status bar, and we look at so this is where we get in the free total cargo space. So if we go to player ship, right, free cargo space. We then want to say subtract total commodities. So if we do that, that way we can then just call free cargo space on the player. That should give us free ship cargo. Oh, that's free ship cargo space. No, we need the free cargo space for the fleet. It's free. Right, for the moment, let's actually get to doing that. Right, at the moment we can't have fleets, so it doesn't make any sense to worry about this implementation right now. However, it does make sense to worry about what properties are being used where, so that we're not getting weird edge case bugs introduced everywhere. Okay, so if we run this now, it seems crazy that we're working on cargo on the trade center while working on accepted missions, but it makes sense. Right, so if we buy 10 tons of industrial, yeah, so our cargo space has now been calculated to be nothing, and we've got our industrial in use there. If I sell that, okay, it's free. Some reason that just wasn't updating. Now, yeah, that's also now preventing me from buying as well. Okay, so solve the number of bugs in one there. Sweet. So now that we've got that one done, or we've got that part done, in cargo we need to have a way. We need to have a way of setting these for for the mission and the reserve. So we're going to say reserve commodity space. And we'll do it the same, basically the same arguments as this. However, it's just going to a different. It's just going to a different place. The actual system for junks will get up and running after we've got the commodities in. Annoyingly, we can't actually use the same system for both of them. It'd be great if they could, but I suppose it could, but I'd need, well, it could be done the same, but it would need to have like a virtual junk created for each of the commodities, which could work, but it comes with more complexity because junks just have a lot more information associated to them. Set. So we're going to add, these are all basically just exactly the same thing, just dealing with a different user table, mission bound, commodities. Right. So I think that's on that. Now we want to look at start looking at the actual junks. Now with this, I think we need a I'm not going to worry about the actual tradable junks right now. I've not done any of that implementation in the trade center. I just want to know about mission junks for the time being. Now, I know in here I did have junk cargo, but I think I need to do a similar split to what I did up there, which means I can't bother to keep track of that anymore. So I want to say junk mission cargo. And then junk reserved cargo. So if I say total mission junks, I'm going to want, well, that sum isn't going to work. I think what I'll do here is distinguish between those and distinguish between junks. What I'm going to do is each junk is actually going to be stored as a separate little table internally, so that we can have the actual junk as a an instance of the relevant resource, and then we can also have a quantity. The commodities, obviously these are indexed values, so we know exactly what each one of these is referring to, but we can't know that with this. I mean, we could look at the actual. No, we can't use indexing because we're not gonna actually know whether we're not actually gonna know what namespace these might refer to, because we're not going to have the same resource limits. We're going to need to keep the actual resource instance present, at least for the time being. Some of this may change with time. Okay, so we can do that. Then in here we can go. We can sum up these. So we're asking for junks. We're going to go through equals add junks I quantity. Okay. I'm actually going to do. I need to sort these out as if they're going to be actual total on board. Yeah. Total on board commodities. Then it's going to be. Yeah, so because I apologise for my terrible typing today. Right, and I think the other thing actually that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to be able to get a label for the actual junk names. Because in status bar you see the name of the junk in a separate section to where the commodities are, and obviously if you have multiple junks present, it will just say mult or multi or whatever the specific wording is that it uses. If you just open up, obviously all these things, or most of these strings, all exist inside MISC strings. I can't imagine many people have spent as much time in this resource than I have in recent times. there should be somewhere yeah. So we've got this here, special, and we've also got multiple. I imagine they're the ones that are being used, but we can check this. Special. Interesting. So if I bought that mission, Trade Center, and I buy some equipment, it's got a different abbreviation, and it displayed it as a special just there. So if I accept that, and yeah, so we get our special multiple if we've got like passengers and we've got a actual shipment. But if the mission is bringing on cargo, it adds it as status cargo. So we've got those guys. Cargo abbreviations. So this is what it's using for can't remember where the oh, there we go. Is there any other junk resources in Nova present than just these? I'll tell you what, let's have a look at passengers. Ferry passengers cargo is 6. So that should be cargo type. Specific cargo type 6. And then if I was to look in here at, well, if we're looking at 6 there, that's certainly not passengers. Okay, well, let's look through here and let's look for passengers. I'm going to go on a hunch and say I didn't spell passengers right. Oh, this is great. Can't even remember how to spell things. Brilliant. Right. Oh. Of course, all missions are not junks. All tradable cargo. Great, so I've just gone down a rabbit hole for no reason. That didn't exist. Well, I did say at the beginning of the stream that I would probably end up banging my head against a brick wall for doing something stupid. And here we are. Luckily for my head, there is no brick walls around me. So, or at least in easy head interaction distance. Right then, let's backtrack on that. Oy. Right, so I can get rid of that. Actually, let's go back to here and let's have a look. Mission bound commodities. That's not what we want. That's not what we want at all. Keep the junk cargo around just because we're going to need that. And then we're going to want mission cargo. And we're going to want reserved cargo. Well, I sure feel stupid. Well, in which case, we can actually just do this as an indexed array, similar to the commodities. I won't put them in to begin with, but each index represents the actual cargo type, and then the value represents the cargo quantity. Nice and simple. Nice and simple. Didn't need to be made more complicated. With this, we just need to do that. Total commodities is, well, it's just total commodities, isn't it? Yep. Nothing else needed to be done. And then we can do a similar thing. That's not to say the last. That's not to say the last half an hour was a complete waste of time. It wasn't. We did get some useful things in preparation. Just wasn't quite as relevant as I might otherwise have hoped. So junk cargo, get rid of that, get rid of that. Yeah, junk cargo. And then we want total mission cargo. And then for this one, actually we could just reuse the commodities, because it's going to be largely the same. Although I think for this, actually what I will do is we'll go with indexed. No, we won't go with index pairs. We'll go with pairs. So we'll just do that. T's total mission cargo. Then we can say player properties, total reserved cargo. Total commodities, total junk cargo, total mission cargo, and total reserved cargo. Right. That should make that a little bit more a little bit more correct. With this, we want to say total used cargo. Right. Let's just try that again and see what we get this time. It shouldn't make any difference in terms of functionality at the moment, but it should make a difference in terms of, not that guy. All right. I can actually get rid of all of those. And why did it not display anything just then? Okay, so it's taken the space, but it's not actually displayed anything, which is a little bit confusing. So it's going to go through, get the commodities, free fleet cargo space. In fleet, that's going to use total used cargo, which is going to be here. Oh, this is going to flood the console. Well, let's see what it... Total use cargo is 0. Right. Would help if I actually involved the amount of cargo space. Didn't even. Yeah, so we've got 10 free there, and now, yeah, we go. We can buy, and that's worked. And just to make sure it doesn't let us continue buying. Nope. Right. Okay. So we've got that. Right. So what I was starting to work on before was we want to be able to effectively, we need to be able to display this special, how much we actually, or what special cargo we actually have. I believe the junks also display here as well, not just not just the actual mission. Well, so we're not working on junk at the moment, so player cargo, special cargo name. Right. So with this, we've actually got a couple of things. Oh, there's two scenarios that we need to go with. We're going to ignore junk for now. I'm fairly certain junk would fall under this scenario as well. But given that we don't have junk being handled yet, we're not going to worry about that right now. What we want to know is how many mission cargo items we've got. If we've got more than one, then we're effectively just doing multi. If we've only got one, actually I should do it the other way around. Right, so if we've only got one, we've got multi. Actually, no, we should do it this way. Check to see whether we've got any. Check to see if we've got one. And then in all other scenarios, we've got multi, right? So we're going to return nil there. Here, we're going to return the specific name. For this, we're going to be in resource 402. Yeah, 402, and then it's basically the index the index of that cargo type. So actually what I should do is sort of paradoxically, I don't need the value just there. If I do this, so I'm going to need to optimize this. This is sort of a bit hacky and terrible, but yeah, I really want to see some of this mission stuff working today before I head off. What I'm doing is I'm abusing the language. This pairs basically gives you an enumeration set. I'm not too sure what it actually is in Lua or whether it's directly referenceable. However, it gives something where I can then get the key and the value out of a table. Because I don't know what those keys are in this situation, I can get them out like this. Right here, there would only be one key value pair. So by going into the loop, I get the key, and then I can pass this key in order to get the appropriately indexed string for the name of that cargo and then return. So I'm never actually doing a loop. This is just an abuse of syntax. Yeah, it's terrible. I hate it. But for a proof of concept and getting something working, it's fine. And then when we've got multiple of them, we're actually going to be loading in the miscellaneous strings, and that's going to be string. That's going to be string 21. Okay. So that'll give us our special cargo name. Sounds so weird. Special cargo name. Right. Now we want special cargo. I'm just going to copy this whole lot down. And if I go back to ResForge, we have credits. Where's credits? Oh, we've got 3 there. I think this thing with credits was something I had a problem with before. I couldn't actually find where the string was located. Obviously, we've got credits here, but that's not the one we're looking for. There'll be something somewhere that'll be uppercase credits with there'll be uppercase credits with a colon just after it. But when I was building this whole bit originally, I seem to recall I had this problem. I was looking through for it, and it just wasn't jumping out to me. It'll be in here somewhere. It's just not necessarily the most searchable of things. Right. Yeah, unfortunately, ResForge doesn't allow searching just yet. So we need, well, 3 is 19 and this is 20. So we can actually string load 2002 get 19. And with this, we're going to be after 20. Right. So what we want to do is it's at 72 across, and then 0. I'm going to say we want to actually go with free size height, and let's have another 3 in there for good measure. And then we want to say this just wants to come in by, let's say 5. It's just slightly, like ever so slightly offset. And then this is going to be free size height, do that. And then we're also going to say special size. It should largely be the same amount, but yeah. Some of how this whole thing is actually being drawn can probably be rethought. Some bits of all this have actually been in place since before certain features of Kestrel were finalized. So this is why some of this looks a little bit crazy at times. Right, now what we want to do is a special cargo name, I think is what I called it. Yeah, special cargo name. Now, what we should actually do is special cargo gamestate.player special cargo name,
That way we're not calling that same thing multiple times if we don't need to. If special cargo, so as long as it's not a nil value, we can go ahead and draw this whole thing. Right. Let's try this. With any luck, when we accept something, we should get some special cargo. Except we won't, because we haven't actually put that in to the missions. Yeah, we need to still add special cargo. Right, so flyer, add set special. We'll basically do it exactly the same way. It doesn't need to be anything more fancy than that. And just for consistency, move that there. Right. Now, with this, I'm sure I had something open for mission before. Right, so we're looking at cargo type. We actually want to just make sure that, yeah, so if it's, if self.cargo type is greater than or equal to not. I'm not putting the upper bound check in there because this 255 limit is probably going to be removed. Of course, it will mean that 1,000 can't exist. Yeah, cross that bridge when I come to it. So say if it's not equal to 1,000, it's that, then we want to say player set, oh, that should be get mission cargo, not get commodity. Right, set mission cargo, self.cargo type, and then we want our cargo quantity, self.cargo quantity. Right, let's try that again. This time, when we accept a mission, we should get our special cargo. Brilliant. Would hope if there was actually missions at that BBS, but oh well. Of course. Yeah, certain elements of functionality aren't in deliberately just because they'd be a pain for debugging. I don't want to have to slow down at a planet or have to move around the systems to find the planets to land on them. I also don't want to have to be able to, or have to always move out before jumping. Those features will be in. Really? Fine. Let's try Mars. There we go. Well, somehow I don't think my little shuttle's taking 600 tons of industrial. Need to sort that out. whatever. I've not put cargo checks on yet, so interesting. Accept the mission. I didn't get any cargo being displayed, and I've now got 70 tons of free space. Nice. That's because I have completely failed to where's fleet? Total cargo space, total used cargo. Hey. So we add all those up. Oh, am I just not rendering the... I might just not be rendering the actual... No, it's... Okay, whatever. That's a problem for future Tom to look at. Right, let's find out why it wasn't actually putting anything in. Ferry passengers. Well, it's taken the amount of cargo off. Sets in mission cargo 6 to 1. Okay. Okay, so we're not actually setting the amount of cargo. Let's see how many bits of cargo we've got. Well, we know we've got 0. And then at this point, we've still got 0. Okay. That makes sense. The shorthand ain't going to work on a non-indexed on a non-indexed table. Tell you what, we'll table count. Brilliant. It's not really what I wanted to read. This also doesn't fill me with confidence that pairs can just be referenced directly, which makes me think this might be the only way to do it, which absolutely sucks. One thing I've seriously considered doing after the release of Cosmic Frontier, or once the game is ready, is going in and basically forking Lua and making some improvements to it to get around some of the annoyances that are being that I've got with it. Where was I going? Helper. It's up. That is obviously for after. That is after release stuff, not before. Right. So, yeah, account table. Self dot mission cargo. And this where we get the number of items. I suppose the other way I could actually do that would be keeping track of the number as I go through and do that. But that seems like something that's ripe for going bang. Okay. So this time we accept our passengers, come out, and I've got a cargo count of 1, and we are getting passengers there. We're just spacing these things out a little too far. So let's go back to the status bar and let's adjust that. I suspect, given anyone who's on Discord on the Kestrel server, I bet will probably have seen at some point or in the past me complaining about text line heights and text rendering with FreeType. I suspect the line height for this particular text is just way too large. So rather than worry about putting any padding between those lines, I'm just going to do that. Not have any. And possibly even have negative padding. I want to get rid of this because I know that's working now. That, or I'll put the text or the labels at specific positions rather than trying to calculate them. Nothing there. Standard. One thing I've got to say is I feel like Cosmic Frontier is definitely picking up less missions. Like, there's more likelihood of getting no missions available on a planet or a station. Which is kind of frustrating. I would have refueled to continue going along, but something I've done in the last couple of days has caused the refueling to actually crash the game, which obviously isn't ideal. Okay, so special passengers, we're still out of alignment there. I should probably make that in line with the credits though. Let's go back on and let's see where we get the multi. That's still being displayed because we've not set it to being active yet. When it gets set to be active, it won't display anymore. So I'll accept it again because it will serve. Of course, it's not actually going to do what I want it to do there because it's the same damn thing. Right. Let's accept this one. That's still passengers, so it's not going to. It's accept. Oh, I need. That's 10 tons. Right. Let's do that. Okay, so that needs a little bit of work. It seems like cargo space in general needs a little bit of work, and just those things just need some thinking. This, I think I'm gonna have to bring it up by like -2 or something. The actual credits, that was at 85. Okay, so put that there, and then I'm going to bring this up by 4. See if that works. Probably want to actually just check in Nova. So I've got the ferry passengers. That's the one I'm interested in at the moment. Leave that. Let's go to right, there we go. So if I accept this, yeah, we get multiple. So okay, I might need to try or change how the mission cargoes are being tracked. But again, I don't think that's a major issue. If we're going to here, let's see how the alignment is working. Brilliant. Once again, no missions. So if I accept that, okay, that's not actually taken anything. And to plug the Discord again, anyone who's been on it in the last 24 hours will know of my complaints about the game still permitting hypergates to be completely landable and tradable. Yep. Okay, so we come out of it, passengers. That still needs to go up. Probably by another 2. And this needs to come up loads. Right, let's try that some more. So go up by 4. I'm actually going to ram that up by 8. And let's try again. doesn't. Probably get another 2 on that, and that should then be somewhat correct. Although it's getting to the point where I might just actually hard code in the positions on here, because those calculations are just arbitrary at this point. So except that, that's the whole thing could probably go up by 1 pixel. Right. And if we give that a shot now, let's see what we get. Nothing there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, does this happen in... I can't remember whether I've ever seen this happen in the actual game or not. Multiple missions going to the same place. Obviously great if you're a bit strapped for cash, you're going to get an extra payout, but yeah. Okay, that's looking more correct. Right. Now, what I'm going to do now that we've got this, we'll get rid of that, and we're going to go to here, and then we're going to add a flag onto the mission. Right. So we're just going to say that it has been accepted. At some point, what I'll do with this is I'll then make it remove the available mission from the list. But I'll need to do some stuff with that first to make sure that that's actually going to work. What I can do is in the stellar landing screen, we want to start checking here. Check for mission completions. So what we're going to do here is we're going to basically check through all the missions that the player is currently tracking, and we're going to look for anything where we're now meeting the completion criteria, i.e. this is the destination or the return stellar of the return stellar or whatever for that particular mission. So what we want to do is there is an interesting problem here, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Yeah, ignore the interesting problem for now. Player. complete appropriate missions. And then we want to go to player. Where's the player missions? I've got rid of it. Right. Function. No. Oh, it's down there. Right. Yeah. Function player. Complete appropriate missions. I should probably add that at Stellar on, because otherwise we're not actually going to know whereabouts that we're trying to complete those missions at. So if we pass the Stellar through, then we know what it is that we're actually trying to complete. So we're going to iterate through each of those missions, or each of the active missions, and we're actually going to check to see if the mission return style resource ID. So even though this return style is ordinarily a resource ID itself, part of what the mission provider is actually doing is it's instantiating an actual reference to the Stellar. So we need to actually check it as if it's actually the resource itself. Right. And then check see if it matches the resource ID of the Stellar that we're on. If it does, then we're effectively completing this mission. And for this, we're just going to print out a value to begin with. Nothing there. Whoops. This is where I'm really hoping I'm going to get some easy mission options. Bloodstone. Where's Bloodstone? I cannot remember the whole map off the top of my head. I used to be able to tell you where anything was. Not anymore. Well, Bloodstone is not in my range before I crash, so yeah, pointless. Let's try. Oops. Here. What have we got? Actually, fine. Nice. Attempting the next return style. Obviously didn't have anything there, so So what happens here? Return stellar, destination stellar. I see, yeah. So if I go to destination equals mission dot return style or mission dot travel style. Yeah, so if there isn't return style, we're using the travel style as our determining factor. So if we have a destination and the destination resource ID, then we can do the completion. I'll tell you what, while I'm here, just so I can actually complete these missions if necessary. Where's refuel? Recharge fuel. Let's go to ship. Is it ship that I want to be in? Yeah. Fuel recharge. Recharge fuel. We are charge fuel in terms of units. Consume fuel in terms of units. Amount. Well, that should be units right there. And charge fuel, that should be times 100. Otherwise, yeah. Right. Let's give it another shot. Mission BBS. We want to go to. Well, that's quite convenient. Right. So we get passengers to Georgia. Okay. Which actually means I don't need to worry about charging. Right. Now, I think my first thing, I'm going to try landing on Earth. And it's not tried to complete the mission, which is a good sign. I've recharged, and that's worked, which is a good sign. Now I've come up to Georgia. And we've completed the mission, which is an excellent sign. So I think our next thing is get it to show the mission completion dialogue, and we can probably call that good for today. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So it's not that guy. Right, so it's this mission dialogue that we want to be displaying, and we can basically dialogue content, show. Okay. So if we say dialogue content, new, we are going to load up a description. Completion description. so in this case, we actually like if we fail to load up the thing, I should probably make this actually part of the debug log. That way, people will get a notification. Right, so we actually want to load up that description. So if we check the mission model comp text, seems like it's a pretty good indicator. We can also just check inside passengers. We have completion text. So mission, I don't know why I'm trying to get the thing that way. We need mission.comp text. We also want to go back to mission provider. I've got too many things loaded right now. Render mission texts. Right. Let's copy this. I can make this something that's actually going to be reusable, because effectively we're wanting to do the comp text as well, same way that the quick brief is done. They're all descriptions, they all want to be able to be rendered. Right, so mission.comp text. This would just be a single button, I think. I'm not going to worry about what the text on the button should be right now. It's not going to be difficult to actually turn it into something, or to actually set it to be something that makes sense. Right now, all I want to do is I'll just put in OK for now. The style I don't think is actually used right now. Okay, and then say dialog show. Results, and then right, so this would then do something after the dialogue has been dismissed. So this time when we run the mission, and hopefully this will work first time because I need to be going imminently, hopefully we will actually have sort of completed a mission in the gateway system. Let's go there. Right. Start off. We've got our passengers. We're heading down to gateway and to space dock 1. It's great not having to slow down. Oh, that's interesting. Bugger. Yeah, that was a rather annoying bug. I couldn't interact with the game at all, and the ship was just spinning. Oh, for God's sakes, and of course it puts me right up here. No, that's not where I want to be. Right. Okay. Ferry passengers to Outcast. Some of these are the control bit tests are not working correctly because it seems to think I'm in a Veloz craft, which I'm not. in the Centauri system. Where's Centauri? Centauri, where are you? I know I'm overlooking it, and I've probably gone over it several times. Well, let's just go again. Nice. Land. Yay! That was a bit of a anticlimactic end to the stream. I complete the mission by taking off and landing. Well, at least I gave them experience of flying a Valos ship, even if it was just a shuttle, and all I did was take off and land. Anyway, I think that's shown that this is working, or it's at least tentatively working. There are still things that need to be done. There's still quite a lot of things that need to be done. I'm just seeing if there's one that I can easily get to, or quickly get to. Sundown. Yeah, let's go. Let's go for that. Just so that we've actually done something a little bit more, so it doesn't feel quite so cheaty. Recharge that. But yeah, it seems that it accepts the mission, at least when we stayed within that system. The real test will be now, because the mission set underneath in the system for all Stellars changes with every day forward that we advance. So now the mission that we actually took is no longer loaded as part of a system, so it's relying on the players who have actually tracked it, and it's worked. So we can complete missions even if we don't get paid for them currently, but that's for another time, and we're also not unloading anything. So yeah, we're detecting when the mission is complete, we're finishing and up all of that, showing the finishing text or the completion text. So I think that wraps it up for today. Hopefully it's been a somewhat enjoyable stream. I've gone off on a tangent. I've managed to complete the first missions in Cosmic Frontier. I'll probably try again for another stream on Thursday or Friday. Get some more polishing of the mission BPS, or even try and get some of the missions that start in the bar or something, things that require going to an intermediary point, like going to the travel stellar, then the return stellar, or something like that. Try and get the missions to be a bit more interesting, a bit more interactive than what we've currently got. But yeah, I will I will say goodbye for now and hope you enjoyed the stream. Bye.